Hey, what's up, guys? This is SN Exclusive, bringing you part 2 of my gun snugs flip breakdown. This part is going to go over the defensive portion, how to stop gun snugs. It's basically going to be how I approach people that play compression sets and bunch and anything like that. And the first thing I want to do is I want to come out in a nickel formation, and I want to bring something that I can bring pressure from, but I can also drop people safely into coverage. So you want to kind of show blitz as your primary read here, but I can also drop out easily. So for me, that's the nickel 245 A gap. And the play that I'm going to show you is called Buck Zone Blitz. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel with this play. It's going to be pretty simple setup. I'll get into tight slots, and we will do the bench swap. Okay, so this is how the play looks when you jump into it. And basically, to stop a tight formation, you have to respect the outside routes completely. You have to do the 3 levels. You have to have deep, you have to have intermediate, and you have to have short. So essentially what I like to do here is I can throw these linebackers into flat zones just like that, and instantly that solves my problems. I still have a 3-man rush, which means if someone's going to run the ball, I'm not going to get pancaked. If you rush 2 people or less, your defensive line will get pancaked city. So you want to have 3 guys rushing at least, usually, unless like 3rd and 20. Then I might rush 2 or just bring out blitz. But essentially, this is what I like to do. So I can put those guys in curl flats, and then when you snap the ball, you essentially lock up that entire side. So just from a pre-snap look here, as soon as I run this play one time, I tell my opponent, okay, you're not going to be able to throw this bench swap. You're going to have to run a different play on me pretty much all game. And so I can come out in this look and I can dictate what the offense does. And I can say, okay, if you're going to run a bunch of crossing routes to take advantage of my one guy over the middle, that's fine. But you can see that all my routes are locked up. And if I'm on offense and I'm reading zone, 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 I come across and I go through my progressions, nobody's open, my middle's not open, my running back over here is not open. And by the time I go through 5 reads, I can come back and I get sacked anyways, or I have to throw it away. But everybody is locked up just by doing 2 quick hot routes. And I also like to play the free safety in this. Everyone loves to use the middle linebacker, but for snugs, I love using the free safety because generally no one's going to go deep on you to the point where you're going to be a liability in coverage. Most of the time, if someone's going to go deep, it's going to be a quick post route, and you can jump and undercut that. You can play those a lot better than the CPU can. And then I can play the middle of the field. I can be a spy. I can be whatever I want to be. And Snugs is very weak against this because if they send someone down the seam, my outside corners have that covered pretty much. Like they're going to play it somewhat well, but usually I'm not as huge of a liability against snugs as a free safety as I would be against other formations. There is a blitz from this formation, which I am not going to show the breakdown for. You'll have to figure it out yourself, but that is the pressure from this formation. So not only do I have this max coverage look, I do have a pressure look that I run, which can only be blocked by blocking a running back. And that is what makes this nickel 245 double A gap for me so viable, is that I can just kind of do whatever I want to do. I'm very flexible. If someone wants to run those crossing routes, I can also do this where I'm just going to throw some hook zones in there, and then I can put my outside guys in flats. So like at the start of the play, I can just put them in, shade my coverage underneath and put those on hook zones. Now I've got better coverage over the middle. And then if I reset this and I kind of say, okay, maybe if I want those zones spread out a little bit more, put them in hook zones, and then I can, do my obvious, here's my hard flat over on that side, mix it with a hard flat on this side. That way, when the ball is snapped, I have a little more, coverage against crossing routes than I would against corner routes. And then I still maintain a 3-man rush, and from the nickel 245, the must rush, what I like to call the generic rush, is actually pretty good. So lastly, you can also just play the cover 3 Mabel from the 245, which is a hot route, and then just put your outside linebacker into a hard flat, and then I like to just shift my line and show an overload to one side. That way I do my strategy where I force the QB to roll to one side. that takes away half the field for me as a defensive user, which, you know, obviously if I only need to guard 3 wide receivers instead of 5, that really helps me out, and it gives me the numbers advantage while also maintaining a good rush. So this is another way you can do it. It's just cover 3 Mabel, and then I have this little area of the field that I have to guard as the free safety, so that you have to know, you know, where your assignment is, where you're vulnerable. So as soon as I see that play, I just, boom, it's over, same play. So I hope you guys learned some of this breakdown. Feel free to use it. I'm SNA exclusive.